Hello, everybody. It is Carrie with Unicorn Company, and today, first of all, I wanted to go ahead and say yes, this is only a week after the last episode. The last episode was actually delayed. I was trying to do every 2 weeks. Life just got chaotic and crazy, and I ended up missing a week. So I'm sorry about the late episode last week. This week, you're getting it on time, and that's a good thing, right? So today, I want to talk about mainly I want to talk about the IlClan sourcebook. So there are spoilers here, not big spoilers because I've only glanced through it a little bit, and I have to say, I do like it, but I want to go through and talk about some of the things that I noticed, and it's just a general overview, a lot of it, but I'm gonna probably say a few spoiler things. So just a warning if you haven't looked at it yet, I'll go ahead and give you that warning now. All right, so the book itself, it starts off with a little tiny fiction piece, and then the introduction and how to use the book and stuff like that. Then you get like a how we got here section, and it talks at a brief amount about what happened as far as getting to where they are in invading Terra. And then it goes into the battle for Terra itself on page 14. Okay, so 14 days, or 14 pages, sorry, you are into the Battle of Terra. Now, the Battle of Terra, just going through trying to see when it ends here. Coming of the Wolf, Enter the Falcon. Oh my goodness, this is a lot of stuff. And okay, still more Battle of Terra. Let's see, we are... Alright, so it's page 79, we're still on Battle of Terra. Okay, so it's, we're talking about a pretty good amount. I mean, I think we're just now getting to the Battle of North America. Yep. Okay, so page 84 is where you go from the Battle of Terra itself to the trial between Clan Wolf and Clan Jade Falcon about who's the IlClan. And that goes on for, let's see, adult trials. There we go. That goes on until page 102. And then you have some stuff about the Ascension. Spoiler bit here. Alric did the Wolf's Dragoons wrong. I don't know how else to put it. So he honors them for being part of the whole thing to take Terra, and then he pretty much chucks them out and literally hands them 30 pieces of silver, which is covered in the novels. But he hands them 30 pieces of silver and says, "Oh yeah, by the way, you betrayed us. I don't want you as part of this. Go home." And he did them wrong. I mean, I'm not a Dragoons fan. I've never been like a big mercenary person. Maybe the Light Horse is the most closest I've gotten to being like, I could see them being, one of my favorite factions. But, it's not something where I go and say, yeah, Wolf's Dragoons kicks ass. Yes, they do kick ass, but it's kind of good every now and then to see something bad happen to them. But this is just wrong on so many levels, like more levels than I can even describe. So after that, it talks about the ascension of the IlClan and Clan Hell's Horses being Clan Hell's Horses and saying, yeah, we don't believe you. But then you get into the Around the Sphere, and pretty much what they're doing here, they're covering some of the stuff as far as the Lyran Commonwealth, well, the other groups in the Inner Sphere. They talk about the Lyran Commonwealth. Something that they talk about in here, which kind of bodes pretty poorly for the Commonwealth and makes Tamar Rising, of the future product Tamar Rising, look like it's going to be interesting in a lot of ways, is it talks about Brewer and him setting off over to the Falcon OZ and establishing his own little state. So I have a feeling this is going to be part of that Tamar Rising thing. I forget what they called themselves, but I know when he got there, there was a. I can't find the name of it now. It's something Republic, the Melissan Republic, I believe. But yeah, so it looks like Brewer is going to establish a microstate inside the Tamar Pact region, and also there's some stuff about the Kellhounds roaming the area. It's pretty interesting, what they're talking about there. Clan House Horses, it talks about what they did do prior to Terra's fall. Also, they got Industrialplex Alpha back online. So we're probably looking at some major build up there. Free Worlds League. Looks like there's political moves. I don't know how else to put it. Republic forces seem to be running to the Free Worlds League as a place to go to get away from the Wolf invasion, which lends its own interesting little, what's going to happen there with the Republic forces. Now, of course, the Capellan Confederation, it talks about them getting to where they're in a better position, and they're making moves on Republic territory and possibly being a threat to Terra. The Fed Sons, ironically enough, the Fed Sons who offer they offer for Republic forces, hey, come on in, we can take you in, and you'll be safe from Clan Wolf. The Republic forces can't do it because of the fact that they're trapped between the Capellan Confederation on one side of them and the Wolf Clan on the other side, and the Draconis Combine on the third side. They have nowhere to go, and they can't get to House Davian. So it's sort of like it's not a good thing. Excuse me, I did not mean to yawn. The Draconis Combine. I have not looked at the Draconis Combine that much. To be honest, I really need to. I need to look through it. And then it talks about the Rossalok Dominion. And talks a good bit about the Rossalok Dominion, actually. And then you have some touch point tracks, which that's pretty awesome. It's giving you scenarios for for the assault on Terra. And you're looking at like the Battle of Sydney Harbor, a battle in Geneva, Yucca Valley, Algonquin Provincial Park in north of Toronto, Ottawa, Staunton Creek, and then there's some awesome artwork of things blowing up. And then you get to a technical readout. It has the Ion Sparrow, the Hero Falcon. Both of those I think are already out. The Firestorm also already out. I'm going to have to double check. The Storm Wolf I think was already out. I'm going to have to double check and look though. The Thresher Mark II, which is a 60-tonner. And the Sojourner, I think the Sojourner's out, and Dominator. And then the Jade Phoenix, I don't remember seeing in any of the books. The not tech readouts, but the little mini tech readouts. I can't remember what they're called now. Shame on me. The Amarok, which I know has been out in one of them because it has the arms that cross. And the Crucible, I think that came out in the last one. And then, of course, there's a special thanks. And you got tech readout. You got record sheets for all the mechs, which I wish they would also include Alpha Strike cards that you could photocopy or whatever, simply because it would be awesome to have more crossover between the two products. Let's see. So tonight we're probably going to be looking at the Thresher Mark II as our tech corner, because brand new. And let's see, where am I at? Okay, we're only 10 minutes in. Awesome. So 10 minutes in. So all right, so the things that I really like about this book. First of all, I'm a big fan of the FedCom Civil War source book. It's one of the only source books I held on to when I essentially liquidated my collection in order to go fully digital. I held on to my FedCom Civil War book. And if any of you have that book, you'll understand that it is very much a very much a, I don't want to say a dry telling of the conflict, but it's a very um, object objective telling of the conflict and of the way that everything went down. This, excuse me a second. This seems, sorry about that. This seems like a very concise. I don't want to say battle report because that's not exactly what it is, but it's a very concise overall view of the battles, and it's not just in a way that's not just in a way that's like, hey, here's what happened, who was involved, and like in FedCom Civil War, you've got these maps showing movements on a planetary level of, you know, here's where these units jumped over to this part. Here, in this, no, you've got actual, like, on. I'm looking at page 57, the Battle of Geneva, on days 49 to 53 of the invasion. It's a day by day thing, and it's an actual map. Like if you study military history or anything like that, this is very much a map of, you know, you will recognize these maps. You will recognize the movements. You will recognize the symbology. It is absolutely awesome, and I really, really wish there were more products like this in BattleTech. Simply because this gives you a wealth of information to use for creating scenarios and stuff like that. Um, let's see, things I don't like. To be honest, I gotta quit saying I am so sorry. To be honest, looking at the book, there's nothing really anything that makes me go, yeah, this is, you know, there's this glaring error here or something like that. And the artwork is awesome. The what they did to the West Dragoons is wrong, but it fits. I mean, if you look at when you look at the book, it does have notes from the author, the technically not author, the person writing the book for Alric, writing this report, because it's like his post-battle report and gets him caught up on things and all that. And they mention, like, how, yes, it's everybody says that Malvina died during combat, but we know what really happened. Or like in the rumors area where it's talking about how Devlin Stone was killed, you know, supposedly he passed in his sleep, or passed away, not in his sleep, but passed away while having a conversation with Alric. And, you know, there's this whole little thing in there of, you know, do people really know that you killed him? Because you got to be careful about what, you know, if somebody finds out, you could be abjured or worse, that you killed a man in his bed. And there's little snippets in here that give you a view of life as the clans try to take over things. A reporter being shot to death when they wouldn't comply with the Jade Falcons. You know, it's so there's a lot of stuff in here that I think is very good and very accurate. The only thing I don't like is that in all the talk about the Free Worlds League, there was nothing mentioned about the clan. What's it called? The Clan Protectorate, which Yes, I know they're not a big part of the Free Worlds League yet, but quite frankly, with the fact that they're going to be integrated after the IlClan, after the beginning of the IlClan era, and we're probably going to see wholesale removal of the Clan Novacat equipment to the Free Worlds League, and also the influence of the Diamond Sharks. I mean, well, sorry, the Sea Foxes. What kind of, what is that going to do? Because now you have this bubble of clan in the middle of a successor state. So, I mean, are they going to become a proxy for the Wolves? Because, quite frankly, while Alric went and remade the Smoke Jaguars, going, oh yeah, y'all are a clan again, um, he kind of left the Novacats out in the cold. Mind you, the Novacats did do some things that were a little more questionable than not, concerning their loyalty and allegiances. But at the same time, to suddenly turn to them and say, hey, by the way, while you're there, can you strong arm the Free Worlds League for me? It's probably not going to go over well. It might actually be a weird sticking point with the Sea Foxes for Alric, given that the Clan Protectorate is not really clan as he would like it to be. Let's see. So yeah, it's something that I think is going to be a sticking point in the future. Also, something else that I thought of is, given what glimpses we've seen, how are the clans going to really handle the Terrans? I mean, I've seen some jokes about it on like Facebook and stuff about the clans being that the Terrans are just sitting around doing nothing while all their machinery does all their work, which is pretty much going to be true. But Terrans are used to like a certain level of press freedom of press, and the freedom to do whatever they want, really. And here comes Clan Wolf and Clan Jade Falcon and everybody else who's going to say, yeah, no, we want it done this way. How's that going to work? Like, how are the clans going to integrate those people? I don't think they are. I think in a weird roundabout way, the inner sphere, and it's already started, you see it already a lot of times, the inner sphere is assimilating the clans. Slowly but surely, they are assimilating the clans to be inner sphere with a twist. I don't think you're ever going to get the clans to get rid of the breeding program and the SLDF under the third league, I guess at this point, is going to be very much a clan military. But I don't think they're going to drop the stars. I don't think they're going to drop galaxy, stuff like that. I think they're going to keep their organization, but their society itself is starting to amalgamate with the inner sphere. You especially see it with the Ghost Bears. And I really think looking at the Ghost Bear Dominion is going to give us a good look at what's going to happen to the clans overall. Alric is pushing very hard for the mongrel doctrine that the Jade Falcons had to just go away. I really think it's not gonna be a thing where the clans take over the inner sphere so much as the inner sphere subsumes the clans and just turns them into like a militaristic bent part of the inner sphere. I also don't think Alric's Star League is going to work out quite like he wants it to work out. I think he's going to probably wholesale have to move the Wolf Empire, whatever's left, into his territory now, push back out against 5 other states with a weakened military, and by going to the other clans and saying, hey, I need your help. Clan Jade Falcon is not in a huge position to help, and in fact, I am so sorry if that noise made a noise in the thing. Clan Jade Falcon is not so much. I mean, they are so small at this point. They didn't even have the people to actually elect a Khan or IlClan, or not IlClan, a Khan or a Sakan or a Lore Master. They had to use blood named and unblood named warriors. They also voted on whether to just disband their own clan until Alric stepped in and said, hey, I want you to be my Royal Black Watch. Which means the Clan Jade Falcon is probably not going to have quite the prominent position it used to have. It is essentially becoming Clan Wolf's pet clan, which is really funny when you consider, if you go back 100 years to the Great Refusal. Is it the Great Refusal? Refusal War? I can't remember now. I feel horrible. But when you go back 100 years, and the Jade Falcons had all but wiped out Clan Wolf, except for the exiles, and now Clan Wolf has pet Jade Falcons. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the Clan Jade Wolf, which I think would have been awesome, because it would have been the only clan, other than the Blood Spirits, not named after an animal. I mean, yes, it's named after an animal, but not an actual one. There's no Jade Wolves. It would have been kind of cool to be like, yeah, so that's Clan Jade Wolf. There's no such animal, but they have a cool name, and here's where it comes from. Even the Stone Lions actually use an actual animal from the Pentagon Worlds. It would have been pretty interesting to have a not actual animal in the series, the not actual animal in the game to be a totem for a clan, because then what's going to be your totem? It could be a wolfish. I don't know, like especially Jade Wolf. Kind of interesting. But anyway, we're at 21 and a half minutes. Let's get over to Tech Talk, because I can run on about Tech Talk as well, because we know me, I am horrible about this. So I'm going to zoom all the way to the end of this thing, and I went too far, of course. Okay, so I don't have Alpha Strike cards for the Thresher 2, so I can't talk about Alpha Strike with it, which, come on, guys. Alpha Strike cards in the products. It would be so awesome. Anyway. Thresher 2. This is a 60-ton machine. It has Endosteel chassis, 300 XL engine, giving it a speed of 5.8. It does kind of push that along with a supercharger, which seems to be a very big thing in this era. So it can move up to 13 hexes running, jumping of 5. 13 double heat sinks. 9.5 tons of armor, reflective. Not a big reflective fan. Well, mind you, I play Alpha Strike a lot, so. And then as far as loadout, yeah, this thing it's interesting. So you've got an ERPPC, a large pulse laser, an LRM-15, an SRM-4, and a flamer. It's essentially a 60-ton trooper. Not a bad trooper overall. I mean, 60 tons, it can move out of its own way when it needs to with the supercharger and mask. I apologize. Supercharger and mask. That's why it goes up. I was wondering why it went to 13 and not 10. So, I mean, it's pretty quick. Alpha Strike wise, I don't remember how Supercharger mask is calculated, but I have a feeling this thing's going to have a pretty long reach on the table as far as speed. What gets me about it is it doesn't do one thing particularly well. It does a bunch of things okay. If anything, I'd say this is more of a sniper with some close support capability. With that PPC and the LRM-15, you have the ability to stay at arm's reach. And the Clan Large Pulse Laser obviously is an arm's reach weapon as well, just not quite as long. And for close-in work, you have the SRM-4, the Pulse Laser once again. And you do have a flamer for anti-infantry, which it's an interesting little concept, especially given the fact that you're going to see more infantry during the invasion of Terra, and also afterward you're going to see it probably a lot of it just in militias and stuff like that. So the story behind it is really interesting. Apparently, the Wolves were so caught up with trying to get as much stuff as they could to use during the invasion, they bought Thresher Mark IIs. Okay, cool. Bought some Thresher Mark IIs. They apparently kind of fill the same niche as the Dominator. Awesome. Um, and it's just, yeah, it's really interesting that you have this mech that I almost want to say is a almost want to say it's a a procurement problem, and I think it'll be funny if part of the legacy of the new Star League, for example, becomes a procurement department that just buys up every single piece of hardware in an attempt to stay in the lead of the houses. Now, all this being said, and everything that's been done here. First of all, I want to say that I think Clan Wolf is no longer a clan. I think they're a house, regardless of whether they're going to admit it. Second, I think it's weird they had Nicholas Kerensky's body with them. You'll see if when you look through the book, you'll see that they apparently were toting a Nicholas popsicle around for the past 300 years or something like that at this point. Yeah. So, just some random thoughts to take away from this. Also, I wanted to do a shout out. I know I haven't done any yet. This is the first one. And this is actually to someone in particular over on the WolfNet podcast. This is to Aaron. So we have, and I'm going to post them in the Unicorn Company podcast. We have a set of three rules. They are they're not even 500 points specifically. They go from anywhere from 150 point to 700 point, depending on 700 plus point, I should say, depending on. No, it's capped at 700 point. And this is because it was the way that we had looked at building our tournament system a while back. And I put it forward as a alternative to the 350 because WolfNet had talked about sharing how to do tournaments. And I was like, awesome, here's what we came up with, and we've been playtesting, and cool. So we had a discussion, decided it wasn't best for me to have that on their Facebook page. I didn't mention my podcast at all, but we decided it wasn't best to have unicorn companies. Well, it's not even unicorn companies. It's just a alternative rule set for alternative tournament rule set on their podcast group. So we've decided that what I'll do is I will have a post up which actually talks about it, and then I will host it on another site. I'll probably host it. I'm going to see if I can host it on the Unicorn podcast group and just link. If not, I have other places I can host it. That is going to be on the Unicorn Company podcast Facebook group. That is actually going to be there well before this. So shout out to Aaron Kroll. Thank you for being understanding when this all came up and we were able to work something out. And with that being said, I hope y'all have a great day, great evening, great whatever it is where you are, and thank you for listening.